So remembering is honestly like probably the hardest thing for me right now because I feel like I'm really productive in every aspect of my life, but there's no barriers between them that it's really hard to like shut off. So it's not like you close your computer and go home, or you're on a call and your kid comes in. And so it's just interesting because I find myself really trying to weave in weave in the threads of doing everything really well, and it's draining, but it works. It's just interesting how
Yeah.
there's no like barriers or boundaries in this time.
Yeah. And time is moving fast and slow.
Yeah.
So I don't really know. So
Yeah. Speaking of time, it's time for our next installment
that's
of
right.
Leadership in a Crisis. I think we're on part 3. I'm Kevin Ring from Hot Dog Marketing.
Yeah. And I'm Jessica. Good to see everybody again, right?
Yeah. So for us, this is a chance for Jessica and I to talk through some of the aspects of how companies can be really productive in this time. And I use the word productive. I don't want to be opportunistic. We don't want to be profiteering. But this really is a chance for companies who have strong leadership to lay a foundation to perform really well, but then also to come out of this in a stronger position. And statistically, companies that invest smartly energy resources in this time leapfrog their competition. So that's our intention. And today we're talking about part 3, which is community leadership. And so I'm really excited to talk to you about this, Jessica, because I think you do this instinctively, and I think you do it really well. And I think that's one of the great things that our community values about our company is the involvement that we've had. But then particularly just even seeing the instinct to lead not just yourself, your family, but us as a company and our clients, moving on to lead and serve in the community. And so I think I'd like to kick it off just by asking you how you think about leadership in the community.
Yeah. Thank you. I was just, while you were talking about that and you said I do it instinctively. And I had just told somebody recently, they asked, what is it that you miss most about business as usual right now? And I said, well, I miss my staff. I miss seeing people at work. I miss seeing our clients. But the community involvement piece, which is like my hobby almost, is because
Yeah.
I can't get enough of people. I literally like go out and try to find more people to hang out with all the time. So I'm having a really hard time right now. Um, but yeah, I think you remember when, I don't know if you've ever done the 7 habits of highly effective people, but
Mm-hmm.
I think I realized a long time ago, the people, there's a part of that where they say, you should focus on career, family, you put out all your big rocks and how you prioritize that. And for people who go to church and have that maybe that's their spirituality. For me, it's really community involvement,
Mm-hmm.
make sure that I give back in that way. And so that's always been a part of it for me for a very long time. So I've always volunteered as part of my career. And when we set up this business here in Round Rock, I thought, I'm expecting this city to support my business. And I want to make sure I give back because it otherwise feels very selfish to be like, no, you come do business with us.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give anything back to the community. So we try to do as much as we can. And it's helped a lot in this instance too, because I think we've positioned ourselves as a leader in some way in this community. So we've been very helpful, but I think at this time of need, we don't have to market ourselves quite as hard. People already know who we are because of the work we've been doing in the community so far. So
Yeah.
today I want to talk about it because I don't think it's too late. I don't think if your business hasn't been doing this or this hasn't been part of the plan or it doesn't come instinctually to you, there's still ways you can get involved now, and you might see some benefit for your business, but certainly for your spiritual growth, you'll see something from it during this time.
Yeah, I think that's really good because I think because this is so we're so limited in the day to day that we're kind of isolated. Maybe, you're isolated just literally by yourself. Maybe you're
Yeah.
isolated into the circumstances. And so the natural transitions that happen throughout a day aren't there. And
Mhm.
just, I think we need that extra energy that
Mhm.
comes from those sources. So I really like the way that you described that.
Yeah, it can be empowering. I was just talking to a friend of mine who feels pretty powerless right now with stuff
Mm.
going on. And I think for many of us, when there's situations where we don't have control, we're trying to find ways to contribute somehow or do something or help. And that can be the way that we gain a little bit of control back in a situation that doesn't feel like we have a lot of control. And I would
Yeah.
guess that most leaders and businesses have control issues, and this could be one way to funnel that energy positively. I just had to guess. So,
I'm going to have to go back and edit that because I can't have you talking about our leaders that way. I told you exactly what to say and you didn't say it, Jessica. No, I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So what what do you think in terms of, so I'm a business leader. I'm
Hmm.
a couple of weeks into this. I've gotten a clear sense of what stability looks like for
Hmm.
now. I don't know how long this is going to last. I've had to pivot maybe. How should I even begin to think about what can I do
Hmm.
to pay attention and meet needs around me?
Yeah, that's right. So I think of community involvement in kind of three layers. Um, the first one is when things are normal, would be like volunteerism and networking and just kind of that individual one-on-one time you have to kind of
Yeah,
figure out who does what in a community and how do you fit in, and looking for those opportunities. Well, we don't have a lot of face to face right now. I don't think that should hurt anybody's chances of actually figuring out who to network with. And the truth is, there's probably a lot of people at different organizations that are taking, one-on-one Zoom meetings right now because there's not a lot
yeah,
of other stuff to do. So if there's someone you've always wanted to meet at a nonprofit or an association or a chamber that you're currently interested in getting involved with, what a good time to kind of get that information, do some one-on-one networking. I
yeah,
love Zoom networking because there's no driving. I don't waste my whole day just getting to the meeting and back, right? I don't
yeah,
have to buy coffee,
yeah,
all of that good stuff that comes with that. So um, that's the substitute. The
yeah.
second, oh, go
So
ahead.
just really real quick, you see community involvement
Hmm.
as kind of community building, right? So engaging those people who are part of the same ecosystem that you're in. And so the first tip is kind of focus on it as networking.
Hmm.
Um, that's really good. Sorry, I
Yeah,
just
because
wanted
I
to
think
make
it's kind
sure.
of information gathering too. Because I don't know if you're a new business, and I think this might be reminiscent of people who start businesses and don't know where to start. They go to networking groups or they go to happy hours just to meet and greet people. And I used to tell people my whole first year with this company was I shook as many hands as possible. you know,
Don't
just
shake any
I know you
hands,
can't do that
please.
right now. So
Hot dog
um,
marketing does not endorse handshaking
no.
in April 2020.
No. But I think you can hit up some websites and see who do you want to talk to and try to get those meetings set up and just find out what other people need. What are they looking for? That way you
Yeah.
can figure out how you can help or who you can connect them to. And then I think
Yeah.
kind of build that weave, that net for yourself, you'll find more opportunities.
Yeah, I think that's really great because everybody's sitting around wondering the same things. And so
Hmm.
what a leader does is they basically voice what everyone else wishes
Hmm.
that they had asked. And so
Hmm.
it's really easy to reach out and just say, "Hey, I was thinking about this. Would you like to be part of it? What do you think we can do?" I really like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
What's next in terms, you said there were three kind of
Yeah.
layers you like to think about it in.
Yeah. The second one is financial contributions. And this is obviously a better fit for businesses that have those resources to give back.
Mm-hmm.
And in a normal setting, you would be sponsoring events or doing some sort of annual giving or including community organizations in your kind of day to day business operations in some way. Hot dog marketing gives back to the Texas Humane Heroes, which is an animal rescue. We're active in the chamber. These are all things that are important to the company and we do on a regular basis. But what you can do now, if you have those resources, if you're fortunate enough to be operating and still making revenue and you feel like you need to do something, there are so many places that could just use a little bit of financial help during this time.
Yeah.
um, Including in our city, there was a fund set up for supporting other small businesses, which was huge. But there's
Yeah.
also food pantries that need lots of help right now. And there's an incredible amount of opportunity. And because we're in marketing, I have to say, sometimes you can be a little tone deaf if you're marketing yourself without having some sort of community awareness in some
Yeah.
of the communication you're doing right now. So, if there is an opportunity for you to give financial resources to something that's meaningful to the community you're in, it gives you some stuff to talk about online without being tone deaf.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. I really like that. No, I know one of the companies I'm familiar with, they actually have a employee-led fund that they match because they really embody the value of supporting each other and supporting the community. And it's enabled them to do some really amazing things. And
Yeah,
so this is a time where amazing things really go a long way
that's true.
for the impact that they have, right?
Mm,
This is, I don't want anyone to hear us saying, hey, you need to give so that you can turn around and say, hey, look at us, look what we're doing.
right.
That's self-serving. That's terrible.
Hmm.
You need to give so that you have accountability, you have authority, and you build trust, right?
Hmm.
It's that it, leadership is what you do when no one's watching.
Hmm.
And that is really, I think, what I love about this point is give what you can
Hmm.
because people are going to notice.
Hmm.
And that ultimately will enable you to grow, to really step ahead in terms of the esteem that the community has for your business, and that'll just enable you to do more. It's really a great virtuous cycle if you do it with the right intentions. So
Yeah.
I really appreciate that one.
We talk to clients a lot about brand equity and that doing marketing consistently over a long period of time builds brand equity. And one thing that I have mentioned before in speaking engagements is you can build negative brand equity or kind of meaningless brand
Mm,
equity with your customer. And so doing these little pieces of positive things in the community when they take notice, you're not just building brand recognition, but it's that positive brand equity that lasts a very, very long time. It's extremely
yeah,
valuable. Yeah.
no, that's really good. So what's the third layer?
Yeah, the third layer I see as companies get larger, and I think Dell in our community is a good example of this. The companies that have a lot of resources start figuring out ways to make bigger impacts through vendor procurement programs where they're supporting small businesses. Maybe there's talent development where they're doing internships or partnering with colleges and they're actually affecting the workforce in the area.
Yeah,
Um, I think business leaders who know that hiring is important or that they do purchase a lot from the local community or can have some economic impact should be figuring out ways to do more of that now more than ever.
yeah,
Because Dell's going to be fine, and they have done quite a bit in the community to support small businesses during this time. They're a big contributor to that Round Rock fund. And so I think that's a great example. So if you're the leader of a larger company and you've put some programs in the place in the past, what can you do with those programs now to kind of pivot them to address the situation we're in?
yeah.
You need to do that good work.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I think one of the things that we really talk about is the business environment supports your growth,
Mm-hmm.
and you have the opportunity to nurture your business environment. And so, what's really great about those programs like employee development is that you're not just impacting your bottom line by training up highly skilled employees, but you're impacting their life, right? You're
Right.
making them more qualified. You're increasing their quality of life. And so if you scale up and think about on a community perspective, making those kinds of contributions in this time specifically is really going to help nurture the health of your community. Everybody's being impacted, and the impact is going to last. And so it's a great way to offset some of the negative longer term implications of unemployment, under development of skills and things like that. So so that's really good. So just to recap, make sure that I was paying attention. Leadership in your community, especially in this time, it really looks like stepping out and leading in networking, right? Community building. It's a great opportunity for business leaders to start engaging even more in their community. And a really natural way to start the conversation is, hey, how's it going? What are you needing? Like, what about this? And then the second is the financial, right? So being able to leverage the resources that comes with your business profitability and success to give back to the community. And really what the main outcome of that is that you begin to earn the trust without, like, indirectly. It builds your brand equity so that that's what people know you for. They are drawn to you because they know that you care about them. And then third, finally, is investing in the programs that are going to really build up your community and the resources and the people that are there. I know one of the things that, you're probably thinking, oh, that's great. How do I start?
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the best thing that a leader can do right now, and as you're talking to your team, in your team agenda, just add a 10-minute conversation that says, hey, who should we help right now? Is there anyone in your life? Is there any group that you care about? Like, let your employees be part of this too, because it's not a top-down thing. This is a cultural leadership aspect that you really want to instill in your employees, because their ability to be focused outwardly is going to translate into great customer focus. It's going to translate into great, like, responsibility for carrying your brand. And the way that starts is really just inviting them into the process. So.
Yeah. And I think that's a really good point too. When you talk about involving employees, I think about the opportunity, like we mentioned kind of at the top of the recording, was companies that do well right now, they will grow after this is done and will be out there hiring. And I think the best brand ambassadors any company has is their team. So how you treat them now and how you step up with them right now and get them involved in your community leadership, it's a really great opportunity to kind of build that reputation with the people who might come work for you as your company grows.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really good point. And I really think it's a good point to end on, because, part of this series in Leadership in a Crisis is there's the crisis, there's the immediacy, and then there's the new normal as we're managing through this. But coming out of it, the cyclical nature of business means that there is going to be a new phase of growth. And I think for our next part 4, what we're going to talk about is what you should be doing now to tend the fertile and keep the ground fertile as far as it comes to ways to engage, look at, and really understand your customers and their needs.
Yeah.
Because companies that can do that are the ones who are going to really build momentum to come out strong when the growth phases restart. So
I really look forward to talking to you more about that. So
yeah.
All right.
Who knows when it'll be? It may be a couple days from now. It may be a couple seconds from now.
Who knows?
Who knows? Awesome.
Just make sure to wear the same shirt.
Well, so then we have to wait long enough for both of us to do laundry and then get back to these outfits.
That's
okay, so
what's gonna happen.
Yeah, so next time you see us, we'll have changed clothes. Anyway, thanks everybody.
All right, thanks.
Bye.